Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyyina Muhammadin wa alihi at-tahirin.
اللهم صل على محمد وآله
واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين. I was discussing the hadith of Imam Ali alayhi salam, أنا النقطة تحت الباء, I'm the dot under the ba, and this is almost at the end of the conversation. The perspective of Urafa, what do the Arifs say about this hadith? This is what we were discussing, and so nukta and dot is the madhar of the al-mabda al-am al-mutlaq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so here is a statement. I would like to mention a few statements of Sheikh al-Bahai today. This is the statement of Sheikh al-Bahai. This is not the British puppet. This is Sheikh al-Bahai, Sheikh Bahauddin al-Amili, a great scholar from Lebanon, great marja from Lebanon, in his book Al-Kashfur. Says that Al-Mabda al-Fayyad means the source which is giving all the blessings, is referred to by the Urafa as al-Nuqta, the dot. And is referred, so this is what the Urafa say. So he says it's referred as al-Wahda. Oneness. And the Urafa call it al-Nuqta, and Sheikh Ibn al-Arabi calls it al-Ishq. This means the deep love of Allah. These are the various descriptions different scholars have given. And Yaqub at-Tawusi has said in his book, which is Kunh al-Murad fi Wifq al-A'dad. Let me write the name of the book as well. Kunh al-Murad fi Wifq al-A'dad. Kunh al-Murad fi Wifq al-A'dad. Now he has said in his book that narrating statement of some that that al-Mabda al-Fayyad, that original blessing provider is referred as al-Wahid, means the one. So look at the different statements different scholars have mentioned about the same thing that we are discussing as an-Nuqta in the light of the hadith, and what different scholars and Urafa and philosophers have mentioned about the same thing. So the best word which can describe that original blessing provider and the origin of every blessing and ni'mat and origin of every existence is Nuqta. So that's one, Wahda, two, Ishq, three, Al-Wahid, that's four different terms. And also Sa'inuddin, another scholar, in the Muqaddimah of Tamheed al-Qawaid, has said, that's the reference, that there are some scholars who talk about that al-Mabda al-Fayyad as original origin of all the blessings in every existence as al-Wujud al-Mutlaq. Al-Wujud al-Mutlaq means absolute existence. Absolute existence. Al-Wujud al-Mutlaq. So this is going to be number 5. And some have said Al-Haq or Allah, which is one of the names of Allah, means the truth. So this is going to be number 6. And but he says, Sa'inuddin Ibn Tarqa says that the best word to describe is actually he says in his statement, the best word is al-wujud, the existence. This is the best word to describe Allah according to his statement. That is going to be number 7. So we talked about 7 different words that different scholars, philosophers, Urafa have mentioned to represent the same concept of al-Mabda al-Fayyad, means the origin who is providing every blessing. So, and and also we learned that Sheikh Al-Qunawi, so this is how many statements we have mentioned for A, and then we mentioned B, and then we mentioned C, right? And now let's go to the statement number D from another scholar, Sheikh Sadruddin Al-Qunawi. He has said in Mafatih al-Ghaib, that's the reference of his book, Mafatih al-Ghaib, sorry, Miftah al-Ghaib, not Mafatih. Miftah al-Ghaib, key to the unseeable. Miftah al-Ghaib. has said that uh, that nukta is actually, he has said that a nukta, which we refer to as for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a nukta is actually, he says, a madhar. Yeah, these are statements in Farsi, so it takes a little while for me to translate it into Arabic, and yeah, he says that this nukta serves as the madhar and the vil. Madhar and vil means the shadow that represents the same haqiqat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that haqiqat is above, and he says that haqiqat of Allah is above the statement that we call him Wahid. Remember, he mentioned Wahid. None of the scholars have said is above the statement of Al-Wujud, the pure, the existence. It's above the statement of Nuqta, the dot, and similar to that. So he says that basically the word Nuqta is the best way to describe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is Al-Mabda Al-Fayyad. And also, as we are discussing the statements of various philosophers and Urafa and scholars, Mullah Sadra rahmatullah alayh, in his Ilahiyat of Al-Asfar, his book of philosophy is Al-Asfar Al-Arba'a, Four Travels of the Soul. So in the segment of Ilahiyat of that book, he says that اعلم هداك الله يا حبيبي أن من جملة المقامات التي حصلت بالسالكين السائرين إلى الله وملكوته, all the levels. I'm not going to write the Arabic, it's going to take a long time. This is his Mullah Sadra statement, that all the spiritual levels that those who do the purification of the soul and move towards the closeness of Allah through their purification, in this travel towards Allah through the process of purification of the soul, all the spiritual levels that they acquire for getting close to Allah and the hidden reality, all those levels that they acquire, they reach a stage where أنهم يرون بالمشاهدة العيانية كل القرآن. So they reach a level where they start watching the entire Quran. So they see the Holy Quran. So I was reading a book of my teacher Ayatollah Hassan Zada Amuli Hafazahullah, one of our greatest Urafa, and he said in his book, today I was reciting such and such surah of Quran, and that surah became personified in front of me. So you can see the surah in a form. Every surah has a reality which can be seen. This is what Mullah Sadra is talking about, that through the purification of the soul, these personalities who travel towards the closeness of Allah through the purification reach a level where they are able to actually see the entire Quran. And not just that, but he says, بَلْ جَمِيعَ الصُّحُفَ الْمُنزَلَةِ. Instead, all the books that Allah has revealed, not only Holy Quran, they can see all the books of Allah and the Holy Quran fi nuqtatin tahtal ba, in the dot which is located under the ba. They can see all the books that Allah has sent plus the Holy Quran. So this is where the Urafa reach to that highness. And Bal yarawna. Then Mullah Sadra says, if you remember, Mullah Sadra is that our, top of the line, greatest, or one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Islamic philosopher in the entire history, Imam Khomeini, when he invited Gorbachev towards Islam, and he sent my teacher Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli with his written letter to go personally to Moscow and invite Gorbachev to Islam. In that letter, if you read, letter of invitation to Islam, he talks about Mullah Sadra in his letter that you need to send the top-notch philosophers of USSR so they can become students of our great Islamic philosophers in the Hawza of Qum al-Muqaddasa and become their students so that they end up learning what Islamic philosophy is all about. You guys have no clue, in other words, about Islamic philosophy. So Imam Khomeini, in that letter of invitation to Gorbachev, talks about Mullah Sadra. This is what I'm mentioning to you, the statement of Mullah Sadra that the scholars who purify their soul with their purification of the soul, on this path of purification of soul towards the closeness of Allah, they reach a level where they can see the entire Quran and actually all the rest of the previous books Allah has revealed. They can see it inside the dot which is beneath Bismillah. Bal yarawna jami' al-mawjudat. Instead they can see all the existences. Fi tilka nuqtatil wahida. All the existences in that one dot. وقد بينا في هذه الأسفار وفي غيرها بالبرهان and we have defined in Asfar and other than Asfar and other books that anna basit al-haqiqata, and then at the end Mullah Sadr talks about the principle of Islamic philosophy and basit al-haqiqa كل الأشياء وليس بشيء منها. That's the principle in Islamic philosophy, that the simple reality, Allah is also referred to as Basitul Haqiqa, simple reality. There is all of the things without being any of the things. Basitul Haqiqati kull al-ashya wa laysa bi shay'in minha. So dot is what is such a great thing, which is the madhar of the haqiqat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And not only that, but if you reach high levels of irfan, you can see the entire Quran and all the books of Allah in that dot. Not only that, but jami' al-mawjudat, all the existences of the universe can also be seen inside the dot. So now you can have a better idea what Imam Ali alayhi salam had already said in his statement, and we studied that already, right? So ظهر الموجودات من باء بسم الله, all the existences appeared from the ba of Bismillah. So this is so this is one thing. Now should I erase this? Thank you.
Seekers do all that.
So, and the Urafa also have said that that nukta, the dot, is also applied on the nubuwwat and walayat. So, so in their statement they say the Sarayan. Let me first write their statement. Sarayan and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wal wali alayhi salam fil alam مثل سريان الحق. So so Sarayan means flow. So so the flow of the nubuwwat of the Prophet and the walayat of the wali, our imams, our Ahlul Bayt and salam, the flow of the nubuwwat of the Prophet and the walayat of the Ahlul Bayt in the universe is just like the flow of Haqq, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the universe. Is, and so there, so they are the madhar, the reflection, and they are qa'im bil asrar. So the Prophet and Ahlul Bayt are the madhar, the reflection of Allah, Haqq, and Qa'im bil Asrar means they are the ones who are the caretakers, responsible ones for taking care of all the divine secrets. And this is the status given to the Prophet and Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. So and this is why we also call them Bismillah, the greatest name of Allah. Prophet and Ahlul Bayt themselves are Al-Ism al-A'zam, the greatest name. So if you get close to the greatest name of Allah, this is where you acquire those karamat. So now let's go to the hadith of the Prophet. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has said, that kuntu nabiyyan wa Adamu bayna al-ma'i wa at-tin. I was a prophet when Adam was between the water and the clay. He wasn't even created yet, right? He was in the stage between the water and the clay. His creation didn't happen yet. Even back then, the Prophet was Prophet of Allah. And Imam Ali has said, Kuntu waliyan. كنت وليا. I was a wali. وآدم بين الماء والطين. And while Adam was between the water and the clay. Imam Ali was a wali at that time when Adam was between water and the clay. So, so Suratun Ta'lifiyya. If you remember in one of the previous classes, I said this, Suratun Ta'lifiyya Lil Mawjudat means the comprehensive combination of all the existences. The comprehensive combination of all the existences summarized in the dot. Suratun Ta'lifiyya lil Mawjudat. Comprehensive combination of all the existences summarized in the dot. And this dot becomes multiple. That means the wahdat in the kasrat dot becomes multiple because of the harakatun wujudiyya and ijadiyya. That's how they say. So when the dot becomes multiple and it's reflected in different existences, what happens is that this is how they call it, that this is now the zuhur of haqq is happening. The zuhur and the appearance and reflection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is happening in all those madahir. And the most perfect madhhar is obviously the Holy Prophet and Imam Ali alayhi salam and the Ahlul Bayt obviously. So they are the most perfect madhhar and they are the ones who are referred to as Al-Insan al-Kamil, the perfect human. So it takes only the perfect human in that the madhhar, zuhur and appearance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his attributes and names can happen only in someone who is the most perfect. Only he can represent Allah in all the attributes and all the names. No one else. So the perfect human being, which is the Holy Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, are the ones who serve as the dot and the madhhar and al-insan kamil. And the earth cannot survive if one of these personalities present at all time, at any time, among all the times, and because they are the ones who represent Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, and that's the same in, if you remember, I used two terms in my previous lesson, Kitabun Takwini and Kitabun Tadwini. If you remember, Kitabun Tadwini means the Holy Quran, which is in the bookish form, and Kitabun Takwini means the whole universe with all of its existences. So this is perfectly true in both of those books, quote unquote. in the universe and with all of its existences, there has to be one Al-Insan al-Kamil, perfect human, representing Allah in all of his attributes, and also towards the Holy Quran, this is true. And we call our Prophet and Ahlul Bayt to be what? Al-Quranun Natiq, the speaking Quran, the talking Quran. The speaking Quran, right? So they look at the kinds of words we have used for Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam: as-Sirat al-Mustaqim, al-Insan al-Kamil, and al-Quran al-Natiq. Al-Quran al-Natiq and Mizan al-Qist, the scale of justice. These are the kind of words we use for the Prophet and Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Now, at the end of today's lecture, I would like to mention this, that first thing that was written on the divine slate was also, the first thing that was written on the divine slate was also Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. That was the thing number one that was written on Allah al-Mahfuz, the protected divine slate. And we know that the Law al-Mahfuz, the protected divine slate of Allah, is protected from every taghayyur and tabaddul and mahf and zawal, every kind of change, erasing, removal is impossible to happen in the divine slate. Once the pen has moved, nothing can be changed. Like the Urafa say that قَدْ جَفَّ الْقَلَمْ بِمَا هُوَ كَائِنٌ, the ink of the divine pen has dried up. This is their way of saying, telling us that whatever has been written is the final. No power can undo what Allah has written. So which means that Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim is written and protected for infinity. So this is the first thing that was written was Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and this is something that is going to be there forever without any change. So وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد.